Chair lays before the House a message.
To the Congress of the United States, Section 202D of the National Emergencies Act provides for the automatic termination of a national emergency unless, within 90 days before the anniversary date of its declaration, the President publishes in the Federal Register and transmits to the Congress a notice stating that the emergency is to continue in effect beyond the anniversary date. In accordance with this provision, I have sent to the Federal Register for publication the enclosed notice stating that the national emergency with respect to the actions of the government of Syria declared in Executive Order 1338 of May 11, 2004, as modified in scope and relied upon for additional steps taken in Executive Order 13399 of April 25, 2006, Executive Order 13460 of February 13, 2008, Executive Order 13572 of April 29, 2011, Executive Order 13573 of May 18, 2011, Executive Order 13582 of August 17, 2011, Executive Order 13606 of April 22, 2012, and Executive Order 13608 of May 1, 2012 is to continue in effect beyond May 11, 2019. The regime's brutal war on the Syrian people, who have been calling for freedom and a representative government, not only endangers the Syrian people themselves, but also generates instability throughout the region. The Syrian regime's actions and policies, including pursuing and using chemical weapons, supporting terrorist organizations, and obstructing the Lebanese government's ability to function effectively, continue to foster the rise of extremism and sectarianism and pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. For these reasons, I have determined that it is necessary to continue in effect the national emergency declared with respect to this threat and to maintain and enforce the sanctions to address this national emergency. In addition, the United States condemns the Assad regime's use of brutal violence and human rights abuses and calls on the Assad regime to stop its violent war, uphold existing ceasefires, enable the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and negotiate a political transition in Syria that will forge a credible path to a future of greater freedom, democracy, opportunity, and justice. The United States will consider changes in the composition, policies, and actions of the government of Syria in determining whether to continue or terminate this national emergency in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, the White House, May 8, 2019.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs and ordered printed. The Chair will receive a message.
Mr. Speaker, a message from the President of the United States.
Mr. Speaker,
Secretary.
I am directed by the President of the United States to deliver to the House of Representatives a message in writing.
Chair lays before the House the message.
To the Congress of the United States, Section 202D of the National Emergencies Act provides for the automatic termination of a national emergency unless, within 90 days before the anniversary date of its declaration, the President publishes in the Federal Register and transmits to the Congress a notice stating that the emergency is to continue in effect beyond the anniversary date. In accordance with this provision, I have sent to the Federal Register for publication the enclosed notice stating that the national emergency declared in Executive Order 13667 of May 12, 2014 with respect to the Central African Republic is to continue in effect beyond May 12, 2019. The situation in and in relation to the Central African Republic, which has been marked by a breakdown of law and order, intersectarian tension, widespread violence and atrocities, and the pervasive, often forced recruitment and use of child soldiers, threatens the peace, security, or stability of the Central African Republic and the neighboring states, and continues to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Therefore, I have determined that it is necessary to continue the national emergency declared in Executive Order 13667 with respect to the Central African Republic. Signed, Donald J. Trump, the White House, May 8, 2019.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs and ordered printed. The Chair lays before the House a message.
To the Congress of the United States, in accordance with Section 517 of the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961 as amended, I am providing notice of my intent to designate Brazil as a major non-NATO ally. I am making this designation in recognition of the government of Brazil's recent commitments to increase defense cooperation with the United States and in recognition of our own national interest in deepening our defense coordination with Brazil. Signed, Donald J. Trump, the White House, May 8, 2019.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs and ordered printed.
Just got one, but I'd like this to be read signed. Chair lays before the House a message.
To the Congress of the United States, pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, I hereby report that I have been issued an executive order with respect to Iran that takes additional steps with respect to the national emergency declared in Executive Order 12957 of March 15, 1995, and to supplement the authorities provided in the Iran Freedom and Counterproliferation Act of 2012. The order takes steps to deny Iran revenue, including revenue derived from the export of products from Iran's iron, steel, aluminum, and copper sectors that may be used to provide funding and support for the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, terrorist groups and networks, campaigns of regional aggression, and military expansion. The order blocks the property and interests in property of persons determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State to be operating in the iron, steel, aluminum, or copper sector of Iran, or to be a person that owns, controls, or operates an entity that is part of the iron, steel, aluminum, or copper sector of Iran, to have materially assisted, sponsored, or provided financial, material, or technological support for or goods or services in support of any person whose property and interests in property are blocked pursuant to the order. The order also authorizes the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State to impose correspondent and payable through account related sanctions on a foreign financial institution upon determining the foreign financial institution has, on or after the date of the order, knowingly conducted or facilitated a significant financial transaction for the sale, supply, or transfer to Iran of significant goods or services used in connection with the iron, steel, aluminum, or copper sectors of Iran. I have delegated to the Secretary of the Treasury, in consultation with the Secretary of State, the authority to take such actions, including adopting rules and regulations to employ all powers granted by the President to the President by IEEPA as may be necessary to implement the order. I am enclosing a copy of the order I have issued. Signed, White House, May 8, 2019.